DEKE calls Deacon a hypocrite, exposing Sheila's secrets. Explosive confrontation between father and son. In a tense and furious confrontation at Il Giardino, DEKE Sharp could no longer remain silent about his father's interference in his romantic life. When Deacon Sharp forbade his son from dating Remy Price, a young man with a complicated past involving actions like creating deepfakes to attack Electra Forrester and a close relationship with Luna Nozawa, a double murderer, DEKE exploded with harsh words. Deacon believed that Remy wasn't good enough for his son and demanded that DEKE find a new boyfriend, someone without a record full of scandals and crimes. But DEKE, who had fallen deeply in love with Remy and believed he was sincerely remorseful about his past mistakes, did not accept his father's authoritarianism. Instead, he turned the tables and pointed directly at the fatal weakness in Deacon's argument. Deacon himself had married Sheila Carter Sharp, one of the most dangerous criminals ever to appear in Los Angeles. A woman whose hands were stained with blood from a series of murders and horrific crimes. Sheila Carter, a serial killer's legacy. To understand the level of hypocrisy in Deacon's argument, one must look back at Sheila Carter's massive criminal record. Sheila is not just an ordinary criminal, she's a serial killer with at least 3 confirmed murders and dozens of other attempted murders. Sheila's first victim was psychiatrist Jay Garvin in 1992, when she pushed him off a balcony to his death, a brutal way to deal with the very person trying to treat her mental illness. A decade later, in 2002, Sheila killed Lance Day by sending a swarm of killer African bees into his room through the window, a murder method more terrifying than the Bee-Nado scene from the show 911. Lance died after being stung by bees due to his allergy, with toxins flooding his lungs and taking his life. Also in 2002, Sheila stabbed Ziggy Dead Marsh to death, a drug dealer who had once colluded with her, but later wanted to confess. Sheila grabbed a knife and turned psychotic, attacking and brutally killing Ziggy. She also tried to kill Stephanie Forrester multiple times and eventually shot her while Stephanie was walking down the stairs. Sheila's list of crimes is much longer. She kidnapped children, held Lauren Fenmore and her mother Molly hostage at gunpoint, causing Molly to have a stroke, and then burned down the cabin where they were imprisoned. She paralyzed nurse Judy Johnson by pouring cleaning solution on the floor to make Judy slip and fall, leaving her wheelchair-bound for life. In 2021, when Sheila returned to connect with her son Finn, she accidentally shot her own son and also shot Steffi Forrester during a confrontation in an alley. Both survived fortunately, but Sheila once again escaped from prison. Undeniable hypocrisy. With clear evidence of Sheila's blood-soaked past, DEKE's argument became extremely powerful and irrefutable. How could Deacon forbid his son from dating Remy, someone who made mistakes with deepfakes and connections to Luna, while Deacon himself married a serial killer who had killed at least 3 people and attempted to kill dozens of others? Remy Price, despite his unclean past, only created deepfake videos to attack Electra Forrester, a wrongful action but incomparable to killing people with killer bees, stabbing with knives, or burning people alive in cabins. Moreover, Remy had shown sincere remorse and was trying to change, while Sheila had a decades-long history of repeatedly committing criminal acts. "You married Sheila, a serial killer," DEKE shouted in fury. "And now you forbid me from dating Remy just because he made some deepfake videos? That's hypocrisy to what extent?" The Luna secret, the last straw. But the confrontation didn't stop there. DEKE dug deeper and revealed new evidence about crimes Sheila was covering up, and this time, even Deacon didn't know about them. Sheila had kept secret that Luna Nozawa, her niece and the double murderer who killed Tom Starr and Paul Hollister, was still alive. Deacon had made it clear to Sheila that he wanted Luna to face justice and would not accept any cover-up. But Sheila, after accidentally discovering Luna was in a coma at Lee Finnegan's house, cooperated with Lee to keep Luna's survival a secret. Not only that, Sheila also knew that Luna had drugged Will Spencer and sexually assaulted him, making Will think Electra Forrester was in his bed. Deacon had witnessed how intoxicated Will was and had proactively taken care of him, knowing Will was Hope Logan's cousin, Deacon's daughter. But Sheila deliberately hid from Deacon that it was Luna who had put Will in that condition and then took advantage of him. This wasn't the first time Sheila kept secrets from Deacon about Luna. Months earlier, when Deacon asked Sheila to choose between him and Luna, Sheila said she chose Deacon. But behind his back, Sheila still spent time learning about her niece Luna, right at Il Giardino when Deacon wasn't present. Eventually, she confessed that secret to Deacon, and he forgave her. However, Deacon made it clear that he couldn't accept secrets, which Sheila should have taken as a warning not to keep any more secrets. I learned my lesson. When Deke revealed new evidence about Sheila's covered-up crimes, Deacon could no longer deny the truth. He was forced to admit that he had learned his lesson from his disastrous marriage to Sheila. Deacon had to face the reality that despite all his promises and efforts, Sheila still couldn't change her criminal nature. Deacon admitted to Deke, "You're right. I was wrong to think Sheila could change. I learned my lesson from trusting in a killer's ability to improve." This was a painful admission from a man who had devoted his entire heart to loving and trusting Sheila, only to be betrayed by her continuous secrets and lies. Deacon explained that he wanted better for Deke and was trying to protect his son from experiencing the disappointment he himself had endured. He warned Deke that relationships with people having criminal pasts or suspicious behavior could lead to serious disappointment, or worse, could put Deke in dangerous situations due to criminal chaos. Explosive divorce approaching. The truth about Sheila's secrets completely destroyed the trust Deacon had in her. When Deacon discovered that Sheila knew about Luna's survival and didn't tell him, he became extremely furious and asked a series of questions. Deacon forced Sheila to tell everything she knew, and Sheila had to confess the entire story about how she discovered Luna was still alive. This may have included Sheila admitting that Luna had escaped from Lee Finnegan's house at one point, forcing Sheila to search for Luna at Will Spencer's promotional party. Deacon may have connected all the pieces and realized that it was Luna who had drugged Will and then assaulted him in the bedroom. Among all that news and the news about Luna's pregnancy, Deacon had a lot to think about. Sheila tried to explain, but Deacon remained angry with her for keeping secrets, especially secrets about the woman who killed Tom Starr and Paul Hollister, two of Deacon's friends. Deacon felt shattered because Sheila's promise of honesty had been broken, and it seemed he might never forgive and forget. The marriage between Deacon and Sheila, once considered one of the happiest and best relationships on The Bold and the Beautiful, was now on the verge of collapse. Deacon began questioning whether he was crazy to see what he thought was Sheila's good side, and whether she actually had a good side at all. Sources reveal that Deacon may not only divorce Sheila, but also end the business partnership with her at Il Giardino. Sheila could become unemployed, without a husband, and without a home, all because she defended her criminal niece. Deacon even went to see psychologist Taylor Hayes to seek advice about his marital situation, a clear sign that he was seriously considering ending the relationship. Consequences of hypocrisy. The confrontation between Deke and Deacon exposed an uncomfortable truth. No one can claim to be moral when they themselves are living with terrible moral choices. Deacon had to face his own hypocrisy when trying to impose moral standards on his son that he himself hadn't followed. While Deacon was trying to protect Deke from a potentially dangerous relationship with Remy, he himself had placed himself in a far more dangerous relationship with Sheila, someone capable of murder who doesn't hesitate to cover up crimes. The irony is clear. Deacon worried that Remy might hurt Deke emotionally, but Sheila could actually hurt or kill people, and had done so many times in the past. Moreover, Sheila's continued cover-up of crimes and keeping secrets from Deacon proves that she never truly changed. Despite all her promises about honesty and improvement, Sheila continued to deceive her husband and protect criminals in the family. This raises the question, can anyone truly save a serial killer? Uncertain future. With Deacon and Sheila's marriage on the verge of collapse, the future for both characters becomes uncertain. If Deacon leaves Sheila, she will become furious, and that means she will become dangerous. An angry Sheila could return to her criminal nature and cause more disasters for those around her. On the other hand, if Deacon decides to forgive Sheila once again, he will face criticism for continuing to live with someone who deceives and covers up crimes. He will also face a loss of trust from his son Deke, who clearly pointed out his father's hypocrisy. For Deke and Remy, this confrontation could actually strengthen their relationship. When Deacon was forced to admit that he learned his lesson from marrying Sheila, Deke might feel validated in his decision to continue loving Remy despite his past. If Deacon could love and marry a serial killer, surely Deke can date someone who made mistakes but is sincerely remorseful. This explosive argument has opened a new chapter in The Bold and the Beautiful, where hypocrisy is exposed, secrets are revealed, and relationships are tested to their limits. Fans will have to watch to see whether Deacon actually divorces Sheila and whether Deke and Remy can overcome obstacles to find their own happiness.